Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something really fun, and honestly, one of the best parts of learning a new language. We're going to learn how to talk about your hobbies, the things you love to do, in Russian. Ready to jump in?
When you meet someone new, what's one of the first things you talk about? It's usually your hobbies, right? It's just how we connect. So, are you ready to have that exact same conversation, but this time in Russian? I think you are. Let's do this. All right, so we're going to kick things off with 5 of the most common words and phrases you're going to need. I'm going to say each one very slowly, and I really want you to repeat it right after me, out loud. Trust me, it's the best way to nail the pronunciation. Ready?
Okay, our first word. Listen closely. Читать. Let's try it again. Читать. And that means to read. Simple enough, right?
All right, this next one is a phrase. Here we go. Смотреть фильмы. One more time for good measure. Смотреть фильмы. And that, of course, means to watch movies. Here comes a fun one. This word is путешествовать. I know it's a little bit longer, so let's try it again. We'll break it down. Путешествовать. And this means to travel. You're doing great. And for all you food lovers out there, this one's for you. Готовить. Again, готовить. Yep, that means to cook. And our last one for now. Let's try it. Заниматься спортом. Let's say it all together now. Заниматься спортом. This means to do sports or to play sports. Fantastic work. So, you've got the words, but how do you actually use them? Well, this is where the magic happens. In Russian, the most common way to say I like is with this fantastic phrase мне нравится. Listen carefully to how it sounds. Мне нравится. This phrase is the key to unlocking everything. See? It's actually really easy. You just put our magic phrase right in front of one of the verbs we just learned. Let's try it out. Мне нравится читать. You just said, I like to read, in Russian. How cool is that? Okay, now here's one small but super important little detail. When you like just one thing, like music, muzika, you use нравится. But if you like many things, like books, книги, the ending changes just a tiny bit to нравится. You hear that? It goes from ца to ця. So for one thing, нравится. For many things, нравится. You got this. But what if you don't just like something? What if you really like it? Or maybe you don't like it at all? Well, it's incredibly simple. To say you really like it, you just add the word очень. And to say you don't like it, you just pop in the little word ни. So очень is like very or really, and ni just makes it a no. Let's practice that right now. How would you say you really like to travel? You'd say, мне очень нравится путешествовать. Try that with me. Мне очень нравится путешествовать. See? You're adding so much more personality to what you're saying. Okay, you've got the words, you've got the grammar, now it's time for the best part. Let's see how this all works in a real, actual conversation. Don't worry, it'll be short and simple. So, to get the conversation started, you'd ask this question. Listen really closely. Что ты любишь делать? This is your go-to question. It just means, what do you like to do? And here's a perfect way to answer. You can string your hobbies together using the word «и», which just means and. So you could say, мне нравится читать и смотреть фильмы. Then, to be friendly and keep the chat going, you just ask it back with «а тебе», which is a simple way of saying, and you. Okay, deep breath, it's your turn. I'm going to ask you the question, and I want you to try to answer out loud. Use one or two of the hobbies we learned today. Ready? Что ты любишь делать? Awesome, you did it. Let's just take a second and recap everything you accomplished today, because it's a lot. You learned 5 new words for hobbies, you mastered that absolute magic phrase, мне нравится, you figured out how to say you really like or don't like something, and you actually practiced a real conversation. That is a massive step forward. The most important thing now is just to keep practicing. Say these phrases to yourself while you're making coffee or walking around. And I really hope you'll join me for our next explainer, where we're going to get into all the vocabulary you need for shopping. So I'll leave you with this little thought. Now that you have these tools, what's the first real conversation you're excited to have? Who are you going to tell about your hobbies? Think about that, and keep up the amazing work. Thanks for learning with me today.